Not like this.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Once again, it's Rich. This is getting tough, I'll tell you that. This is getting tough. I got a lot of messages asking when this video is gonna come out because yesterday it's just 5 games in a row with this team, with Connor and Leon. It's just getting to the point where you gotta take a little bit of a break, and I don't want to keep making videos where I'm constantly, ranting about changes that should have been made long time ago. And here we are, just a week out of the trade deadline, and nothing's happened. Promises of signing a big second pairing D-man, right shot, hasn't happened. We brought Klingberg in, and already, if you watched his interview today, he's already saying he's only got 8 games in and this and that. Like, again, I hope Klingberg works out, but for the Edmonton Oilers, and right now, the time is now, the window is now. We can't keep waiting. We can't keep acting like it's McDavid's second year and, everything's okay. But, I mean, it's really hard. It's really hard to lose 5 games in a row. I mean, when that game finished, I was just like, what is going on? And, I mean, let's face it, the Edmonton Oilers stink right now. They stink.
Incredible smell you've discovered.
The Oilers cannot manage to muster any offense if your name is not Leon Draisaitl or Connor McDavid. It's just getting to the point where there's nobody chipping in offensively. Zach Hyman scored a goal, but too little too late. And, Ekholm gets a penalty there right after that goal. There was just over 3 minutes left in the game. Ekholm basically shaves off 2 minutes of that 3 minutes and change, and a minute is not enough, especially against the Florida Panthers. Once again, a trap team. I just thought it would be a little bit different. I thought it would be different. I thought the Oilers were going to come into this game and, remember last June when they were in that building and they, could not bring that cup home to Edmonton. It was, it's not something I want to talk about, but at the end of the day, you hope to see, a little bit of nastiness at least. I mean, if you're trailing at 4-2 at that point, once the game's out of hand, there needs to be a little bit of nastiness. It's not up to Corey Perry to constantly be the one that's dropping the gloves, but I just don't get it. I don't get what the weight is. I don't get what the weight is from the management. I just don't understand. So anyways, let's get into the stats. Welcome to the game number 59. The game number 59 recap here on Frozen Oil, and plugging away. We are closing in on 600 subscribers. It's all thanks to you, so thanks so much for supporting the channel. Whether you're an Oiler fan or not, I've had a lot of Florida fans reach out. We got to know each other a little bit from our Stanley Cup final match there last year, and I know I'm going to hear a lot in the comments, but at the end of the day, the Oilers they're just not playing their best, and that's with the Panthers missing Tkachuk. So just imagine if Tkachuk was there. I know we're missing Nurse, and he's been playing, for Darnell Nurse, he's been playing significantly better than previous years. I will admit that. I have mentioned it many times on the channel and on our Twitter/X page. But it's just the desperation level needs to be a lot higher. Are we going to keep talking about, the same things we've been talking about all year? It gets to the point where, you know what, you have 7 days left to fix this, and Obviously, someone like Kane coming back that's physical is a big boost for the Oilers, but there needs to be way more coming in on the defensive side, potentially on the goaltending side. Again, Skinner is not a horrible goalie, but it's the consistency right now. Until he gets to the point where the consistency is there, we're going to continue to lose games in the fashion that we did today. Yeah, he made some big stops, but there were a couple of goals that, again, maybe he could have saved and maybe the outcome would have been different. So we've been saying the same thing over and over again, and it's just at the point right now where the Oilers gotta figure it out. I hope you're enjoying the background music today. I went a little rock style today. You know, I'm into hip hop and EDM and, you know, house music and stuff like that. But I'm also a big fan of rock music, and a lot of the people that are following this channel are in a. There's a lot of them. You'd be amazed the statistics behind the scenes. So there are a lot of fans that are over the age of 50, so that are on this channel. So big shout out to you guys for watching. And I thought I'd throw in some rock music as some background music today for this video. But at the end of the day, the Oilers lose their 5th in a row. They drop 4-3 to the Florida Panthers. 36 shots on goal for the Panthers, 27 for the Oilers. They dominate in the face-off dot, 54-45. The Panthers go 0 for 6 on the power play. The ref was really blowing the whistle there left and right on the Oilers. Again, no excuse. You gotta find a way to win, and taking a lot of penalties is not going to help. And the Oilers go 0 for 2 on their power play. At some point, I mean, how many times are we going to say this? At some point, you got to change up the power play. The first unit power play needs to change. It hasn't been working all year. There's 20 games left in the season. Give somebody else a try. When Savoy was playing, why wouldn't you give him some power play time instead of Nugent Hopkins? Why? What's Nugent Hopkins doing? I'm not saying take him off. Put him on power play too. But give Savoy an opportunity. Give Jeff Skinner an opportunity on that power play to get it going. You know, you need some game time. You can't just, you know, do it in practice and then never implement in game time. And then when playoffs come, you switch it up and they've had no practice together in game situations. It just doesn't work. So, you know, there isn't a lot of runway left for the Oilers to figure out what's going on. But the power play really needs to be looked at, because we had one of the best power plays in history, and all those players are still on the same team, are still playing for the Edmonton Oilers, and it's just not working. Hits, once again, we get demolished 26-15. Blocked shots, 21 in favor of the Oilers, 17 Panthers. Giveaways, pretty even, and takeaways, 5-3 in favor of the Panthers. So, a very disappointing game if you're an Oiler fan. I'm sure you're on cloud 9 if you're a FLA fan. And, you know, the third goal, especially by Nate Schmidt, really reminded me of the Rodriguez goal in the Stanley Cup Finals. Same area, little bit of traffic, and just sneaks through Skinner. Again, that's a goal that, in a game like this, could have changed the outcome if you can make a save there. And in the playoffs, it was a demoralizing goal. So this is what we're talking about, is if we need to see improvement from last year with Stuart Skinner to this year, you're playing the same team, you're on the road, you're in net, and the same type of shot comes at you, and you still don't make that save. Now, is the majority of the blame going to be on Stuart Skinner? Probably, because he's the one in net. But for me, the improvements need to be instilled by the goalie coach, and the goalie coach still there, and the same goals are still happening. So I'm not too sure if he even realizes that the lateral movement and these screenshots that are getting through just need to be improved on and worked on. And if they have been working on it, it's not working. It's just not working. So something needs to change. Something needs to change, and we got to figure it out. And we'll get to Twitter X here right away. All right, so here we are. Favorite part of the episodes here on these game recaps is just kind of going over what the Oilers faithful feel like. So just a quick reminder, you can follow us at Frozen Oil Hockey on Twitter/X. Closing in on 800 followers, 800 hardcore Oiler fans. We gotta keep on climbing, because I know there's a lot of you people out there that feel the exact same as we do here at Frozen Oil. And right now it's pretty low time, but the high time hopefully will come. But at the end of the day, there needs to be a voice for the fans, and that's what we're trying to bring to you here. We're not too happy with a lot of the stuff that's gone on with management in the past, and 10 years of Connor McDavid with the results that we have, it's just not enough. And we'll get to that here with some of these posts. So let's kick it off here with DYL at DHockey13. Watching the Oilers play right now is like willingly playing a game of Russian roulette. So obviously DYL is just getting tired of the uncertainty, and it's getting to the point where, oh my God, it's too much. It's just too much as a fan. I mean, if you're a contender, you're not losing 5 games in a row, and potentially 6. They got it tough in Carolina on Saturday night. So we'll see what happens with that. Next one here is from Schmitty the Goat at Schmitty G. The Oilers are clearly throwing games on purpose to push Bowman to trade for a goaltender, top 6 winger, and top 4D, guys. It's cool. And I mean, I don't know if this is sarcastic or not, because we actually need that. But at the end of the day, I mean, if the management ain't going to make any moves, sometimes this does happen. I mean, I'm not saying this is what's happening. The Oilers clearly tried to win that game and came up short. But at some point, there are times where teams, they fold because they're just sending a message to management like, we can't handle this anymore. Like, we need saves here and there. And Schmitty the Goat may or may not think that. I may or may not think that, but you just never know what's going on behind the scenes. Next one here is from Captain Jack. Seems like Oilers management are unwilling or unable to do their job of finding a starting goalie. So they get the media to gaslight fans into thinking we don't need a goalie. Do not go gentle into that night, fellow Oiler fans. Too much is at stake this year to not be loud. And yeah, I mean, I felt that way last season. Not enough loudness coming from the fans, and look what I'm doing. Look what I'm doing now. I mean, this is not easy. This is a lot of work, and shout out to everybody else that takes the time to do this kind of stuff for their favorite teams. It's a lot of work, but I mean, there's got to be somebody else other than Oilers management and the current media for the Oilers, because they are just not asking the questions that need to be asked, and we want to bring those to light here on Frozen Oil, as well as bring you some other cool Oilers stuff. So we got so much cool stuff coming. I'm so excited to share it with you guys. Let's move on to the next one here from DC at David _Co. Today would be a great day if the Oilers not only fire Dustin Schwartz, but also trade for a better goalie. And again, frustration from Oiler fans with the goaltending. Here's one from Dan Fika. The team is done with Skinner as their goalie. If you can't see it in their play, I'm not sure what else is there to say. On a 5-game road trip, your goalie usually steals you 1 game, 4 goals or more every time. No, it's not the team. So, once again, Goaltending in question. How many more times are we going to say it? And if Stu Skinner is your guy, you just got the night off before. If he's not starting in Carolina, he's definitely not a number one goalie. I'll tell you that right now, because that's a gigantic game. And rumor has it that Pickard's getting the start. So, again, if we have a true number one goalie, why would Calvin Pickard be getting the start in Carolina? That's pretty much it. And, you know, we've talked about other things. We've talked about the lack of physicality, which is just brutal. Every single game this year, except for, I think, one or two, we were behind in the hits dramatically. Some games we were triple out hit, quadruple out hit. It's just ridiculous. There's no physicality. And there was a play specifically that I wanted to bring to light. It was in the third period. It was right before the Florida third goal to make it 3-2. And it was Sam Bennett coming in, crashing the net, and Stetcher and Kulak are on the ice. He crashes the net, makes contact with Skinner, stands there in the crease, and there's just no pushback whatsoever. You got to bump him. You got to, give him a little shot. You got to do something, because they're just going to keep crashing the net. And we know Stu's got issues with guys in the crease. So if you're not going to clear the crease for Stu, I just don't see how we're going to see improvement. And, the first time Klingberg actually does some physicality in front of the net, he gets a brutal penalty, which kind of came at a really, really bad time. And that's what happens. They go on the power play. The game changes. So just bad luck, bad everything. And like I said before, the Oilers, just plain and simple, they stink right now.
Incredible value discovered.
Here's one from @2003 Nico. Oilers in games when they get 900 goaltending this season, 28-3-2. Oilers in games when they get sub 900 goaltending this season, 6-17-2. Just an average goalie. That's all we need. I hear you. I hope management hears you. Here's one from Addy @Oilers Alert. Evander Kane's no movement clause turns into a 16-team no trade clause today. Would you move him if he wants to return before the season ends? And, I can't see the Oilers moving him. There's not going to be a player available that's going to be like Evander Kane. And, Evander Kane played hurt all playoffs last year. So if we can get a healthy Evander Kane back, and somehow make this work out where he does get a few games before the playoffs. But at the end of the day, a healthy Evander Kane is a force to be reckoned with. I'll tell you that right now. And we definitely need a healthy Evander Kane, and we need a hard game from Evander Kane, which he brings on a regular basis. And next one here, this one was just, what do you say? What do you say here? This is at the end of the game, Draisaitl coming off the ice, and he smashes the bench door right before Skinner comes off too. And this is from @Gino Hard. Frustration setting in as Leon Draisaitl kicks the bench door on the way off the ice. The Oilers have dropped 5 games in a row, and there it is, him smashing the bench. I can't see that locker room being in a good spirits right now. It's not just the 5-game losing streak. It's just the way it's happened. It's been, a carousel of the same thing happening over and over again. There's even people now taking to social media making comments on Connor McDavid, which is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard of in my life. From the second Connor McDavid stepped on the ice in an Oilers jersey, he has been the exact same player that he is right now. He is that good. He is special. And not an ounce of blame can go to Connor McDavid or Leon Draisaitl for what's happening right now with this Oilers team. So we're going to move on here to the final post. I kind of wanted to, end this episode with something cool, something that's not, constantly talking about the Oilers and what they need to do currently. We're going to throw it back to 1990, the last time the Oilers won a Stanley Cup. And this is from Vintage Oilers. Highly recommend you follow these guys on Twitter X. They post the coolest stuff. And it's Messier fighting McSorley, has to be held back from Waters, throws an elbow versus the Kings. And look at this. That's your captain right now. Fighting Margie McSorley, who's one of the toughest players to ever, strength-wise, to ever play in the NHL. And Messier takes him on, former teammates, doesn't hesitate. And this is what the Oilers need. They need a little bit of nastiness. I'm not saying McDavid and Draisaitl are going to go fight, even though I do think Draisaitl is capable of it. But some pushback. Look at this. Look at Messier. Obviously, McSorley probably has at least 30, 35, 40 pounds on him. Doesn't care. Because Messier, he's a monster. He's a stud. I had dreams of Messier taking a coaching role with the Oilers because he does not take no for an answer. And you can see here just kind of the stuff that he was capable of that had nothing to do with, scoring points. And dirty mean elbow there. There he goes to the box again. So you can check out this post on Twitter X. I'm not going to show the whole thing, but it's 5 minutes in one game. I'll just skip through here of Messier rallying his team. And look at that bench. Look at that bench. Look at everybody engaged. Look at that. Every single player on that bench is ready to jump on the ice for Mark Messier. And I do think that every single player on the Oilers team would jump on the ice for Connor McDavid or Leon Draisaitl if it got to this point. But at the end of the day, McDavid and Draisaitl are not Mark Messier. So somebody else has to do it. Somebody else has to bring this team together, and it can't be Corey Perry all the time. There's got to be other players that step up to the bat for this team and kind of get it together. So didn't want to look at him. I mean, I can watch this all day. I don't know about you guys, but I can watch this all day. Look at him. One of the best of all time. He's my favorite Oiler of all time until a guy named 97 came around, and he's up there, but he's got to get a championship. We cannot keep waiting, season after season. The time is now. We've said it before. We've said it a million times. The time is now. No more waiting around. Stan Bowman did an interview. It was more smoke and mirrors. We tweeted about it. More smoke and mirrors. Nothing going on. Says he's not going to make a lot of moves. And we still got to see what we got. I mean, 59 games into the season and you're still deciding what do you have and what do you got and this and that. I mean, unless there's some, underlying major transaction that's going through. If the Oilers limp into the playoffs with this current roster that they have right now, it's brutal. It's not going to go good. I do not have a good feeling about it. And the guys that you're looking for, you had. I mean, we can't keep mentioning it. The guys you're looking for right now, someone that could play with Draisaitl, Dylan Holloway's that guy. You let him walk. You drafted him. He's your own, and you let him walk. And Broberg, you let him walk. You're looking for a D-man? That's your guy. Broberg, by the way, 2 goals last night. Holloway, a goal. 3 goals from these kids. Holloway's approaching 20 goals. I just don't get it. It's crazy that we're at this point, but that's where we are. So thanks for tuning in to the episode. We really appreciate it. And we'll see what happens Saturday night versus Carolina. Hopefully the Oilers can turn it around. That'll do it for today. Most importantly, go Oilers, go.
Frozen or hockey, the channels you need. Oilers on the ice, unstoppable speed. Chasing the cup, we're gonna succeed. With David leading, we're built to exceed.
Frozen or hockey, moving